From the sidelines to your ears, it's the BenchWarmers Podcast, where sports meets humor. I'm your host, Zach, and I'm joined by my co-host, Jordan. How you doing today?
Doing lovely, man. Lovely. How are
That's
you?
good. I'm glad to be back.
Absolutely.
It's just been so chaotic and busy.
It really
Just
has, dude. With the summer picking up, spring
mm-hmm.
leaving, I gotta go back to work. You got a bunch of things going on. Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
But we're gonna try to keep all our fans entertained
Just so you
as
know,
much
there,
as
there
we
might be a
can.
chance. There might be a chance that we might have to go down to one episode per week. Not all the time,
Right.
but throughout the summer, just to let you guys know.
Yep.
There's 50% chance of that happening. We will let you guys know, though. All right, Zach. What do we got on the schedule today, brother?
We're gonna go over to the NBA first, just because the playoffs are in full swing. And then we'll go over Raw. We'll get into the draft. Go over like I'll go over the Cowboys and what I think. You'll go over the Patriots, and then we'll go into like our hometown teams. Pittsburgh and Buffalo. And if we have time, we'll try to get into maybe a few other ones on how we think they did. And then we got some other like college football news. It's going to be kind of a short cast. Um, so if it sounds like we're rushing, we're not trying to. That's just how it's gonna end up, I guess.
Right, right, absolutely.
But how's all that sound to you?
It sounds great, man. It sounds great, and we got a jam-packed episode. Like Zach said, we're not trying to rush things, but we unfortunately we do have things to do. Um, so with the NBA, dude, how about it? The playoffs are starting to pick up. I know you had the Bucks going in, and you wanted them to win. The big
Yeah,
thing,
that doesn't look like it's gonna happen.
right? The big thing here is I have it here. The Giannis Antetokounmpo trade rumors. The Lakers and the Nets are the hot topic for Giannis to go to if he decides to go. What do you think on that?
I'll be upset because I do like the Bucks. I liked the Bucks even before Giannis was there.
Right.
I wouldn't say they were my favorite team, but I ended up watching them more because of Giannis. But I don't know. If he goes to the Lakers or the Nets, I feel like he's just chasing rings at that point, which I don't blame him. But
Right.
I
He
don't
has
know.
one
I
already, hasn't
like,
he?
yeah, he has one. Yeah, he won a ring with the Bucks.
Right.
Um, and more power to him. I mean, it's not like I know basketball is not like baseball. Some players stay forever. Football, there's a lot of players that stay 15, 20 years, and the NBA is not like that. You get a lot of guys that play maybe 3 years at this team, and then they bounce to another team, and then they go to a different team. There's a lot of moving around. But if he wants to do that, I support it. I might not support the team that he goes to, but if he wins rings, good on him.
Absolutely. Moving on. Giannis actually expressed some frustration, with his playoff struggles. Do you really think that after all this stuff, the rings, everything else that he's been through with Milwaukee, that honestly that Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to go and leave the Milwaukee Bucks? Could you see that happening?
I mean, he could. He
I
very
just
well
see that.
could. I mean, Anthony Davis was with the Pelicans for how long?
Right. I just see Giannis as like, cause you see him off the court. He's such a bubbly, nice person. He's also a
Mm-hmm.
competitor. I mean, this kind of reminds me of the whole Trey Hendrickson over in the Cincinnati Bengals thing, where the guy wants to be there, but he also wants to win at the same time. You know.
Right.
And then moving, next, Damian Lillard too has suffered an Achilles tendon injury, so that has to build up on Giannis as well. Godspeed
Oh
to
yeah.
Dame. Damian Lillard, I would say he's one of the best point guards in the league today. That's a big blow to the Bucks. Not just the Dame Lillard injury, but the fact that the Greek Freak is looking to leave Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Right. And I mean, Giannis can't do it all. He's got to have Dame Lillard there to help out,
Yeah,
and that's really going to hurt him.
absolutely.
I don't see him getting past the Pacers. I mean, Indiana leads 3-1, and they're on what, game 5 tonight?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, I believe
pretty
that's
sure.
tonight.
Um, yeah. Moving on to in the same category of injuries though, Jimmy Butler. I don't know if you've seen that of the
I
Golden
did
State
not.
Warriors. He has a hip injury. Um, but he Butler participated in a light walkout. Walkthrough at the team shoot around on Monday morning, and he was listed as questionable. But I've seen um, that he will be available to play. Um, the next game for the Golden State Warriors. That's a big thing. I know that the Warriors have Steph Curry and they have Draymond Green still, along with DiVincenzo and stuff like that. Jimmy Butler just brings a different presence to the team. He's been in these situations before, and it looks like Jimmy Butler was doing everything he can to recover as fast as he could from this injury, and it looks like it was a pelvic gluteal muscle contusion. That's what I got here. I'm pretty sure I just fucking butchered that, but yeah, that's what it is. Um,
Well, I'm sure he wants to get back. He wants to, get back to beating the Rockets, which is kind of surprising to me. The number 7 Warriors are leading the number 2 Rockets 3-1.
yeah,
So he wants to get out there and he wants to finish this, and I don't blame him. He's a competitor, and he just wants to get his team, past this round,
yeah,
and I don't
absolutely,
blame him.
absolutely. And then um, so speaking of playoffs too, why don't we just dive into that as well? We talked about the Pacers and Bucks. The Pacers are a hot team right now, especially with Tyrese Halliburton, leading the show there. Uh, they've been one of those. They were in the playoffs last year, and I believe they were in the playoffs the year before that. And I know that in the Eastern Conference Finals they played my Boston Celtics, and they lost. But the Pacers are a surefire team, man. They're ready to go.
Oh,
With
they
all
definitely are.
Yeah, with all this frustration that's in Milwaukee, it's hard to disagree that that plays a lot of it. On top of the massive injuries with Damian Lillard.
Oh yeah, it definitely plays a big part of it. You know, you see it in football, you see it in any sport, really. You get injuries, and coaches and stuff say next guy up. But the next guy
Absolutely.
up isn't always on par
Right.
as your starter. There's a reason why they're starters,
Yeah. Right.
and it really lays. I mean, even when I played high school sports, you get a guy that you usually play with, gets hurt. It kind of hurts your psyche a little bit. You kind of get into your head like, are we going to be able to do this with this second stringer? Or
Absolutely, dude.
has he had enough reps with the first string?
Yeah.
There's no chemistry, so that really hurts a team, especially in the playoffs.
Absolutely. The Cleveland Cavaliers, they smoked the Heat 138-83, and they sweep the Heat, actually. And I'm sure that we had already said that in the previous episodes before. We didn't see Miami making it that far, especially,
No,
with the team. They got Tyler Hero down there, which is nice. Pat Riley's still running the show, I believe. Uh, the Heat will be back in some. They always are. Miami is one of those teams that just somehow, some way, they are always, right there, at least in the play-in tournament or in the playoffs. So I'm assuming Pat Riley's going to fix his errors here, and he will be back. The New York Knicks and the Pistons, they play tonight at 7:30. It'll be on
7:30.
TNT. That's a big game. Detroit making a name for themselves here. Detroit's I believe the last time Detroit was actually in contention was like the 90s with like Dennis
Yeah, it's
Rodman and
it's
stuff like
been a
that.
long time. It's been a long time for Detroit, but they're not going to get past the Knicks. I mean, they're down 3-1.
Yeah.
I don't see them winning this unless a miracle happens. Um, it, it's just hard to beat some of these teams right now,
It really
and we
is.
talked about it. We talked about it before, what was it, the East? The East is just stacked, and
It is.
they're really gonna have a hard time. I mean, any team that goes up against a team in the East is in for it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I'm assuming that it's going to be the next round is going to be Cleveland taking on Indiana, and we didn't touch on the Celtics. We might as well do that. They play tonight as well at 8:30. That'll be on NBA TV. For those of you who have that package on YouTube TV, and if you don't, you're shit out of luck. The Boston
Yep.
Celtics lead the series 3-1 against Orlando Magic, and Zach is right because it falls the same thing that Zach said about the Pistons versus the Knicks goes the same way for the Celtics and the Magic. The Magic are the 7th seed. They're the very last. Not the very last team. The second to last team um, in the playoffs in the Eastern Conference Finals. It's just Boston leads this, and it's 11 and a half on the money line. I'm assuming that's what that is. Um, that's crazy. That's crazy numbers,
Hmm.
especially for Boston and the Knicks. The Knicks are 5.5, -5.5 to beat the Pistons. These are just outrageous numbers. So I'm assuming it's going to be New York and Boston and Indiana and Cleveland. Now, moving on to the Western Conference Finals, because I know that you
Well,
have.
I do want to. Yeah,
Okay,
we're
no,
going
go
to
ahead.
talk
Go
about
ahead.
the West.
Go
I
ahead.
just want to bring this up though. If you're a Clippers or a Nuggets fan, you got to be on the edge of your seat right now.
Oh yeah,
You know,
absolutely. Thank you for
the
bringing that up.
series is tied 2-2. And they're playing lights out, both teams.
They are,
Um,
and Zach, my thing about the Nuggets alone, the Clippers are a fantastic team, but the Nuggets alone, think about like they fired their head coach. That head coach
yeah.
took them to the finals and won. This is an
Hmm.
ultimate underdog situation here for the Nuggets. Um, I'm pulling for them. I'm a Celtics fan, but I would love to see the Joker back into the finals. And I think it would
Oh yeah.
whether it be Cleveland, Indiana, or Boston that goes up against the Nuggets. And we'll touch in the Lakers too because I don't know if
The
like
Lakers are having a hard time right
yeah.
now.
Uh,
I can't believe that. We'll get into it, but I
uh,
can't believe it.
so for this series here, which is tied 2-2. It'll be on tonight as well on TNT at 10 o'clock. It's minus 1.5 for the Clippers at this point. But the story here revolves
I'm
around the
surprised the
Denver
Clippers are
Nuggets.
favored. Honestly, even with the head coach situation for the Nuggets, I'm kind of surprised the Clippers are favored.
Oh yeah, no, me and you both. Me and you both, because the Nuggets should be up at least 5.5, 4.5, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
I
You think that has a lot to do with Kawhi Leonard?
oh absolutely, absolutely.
I mean,
Because
why
Kawhi
wouldn't
Leonard,
it?
I mean, some call this man a journeyman, um, just like Kevin Durant, KD. I
Yep.
don't. Kawhi to me is just a hard worker. He knows what he's got to do to get the job done, and he's
But
just one of those clutch players.
well, we can bring up the fact that what we brought up with Giannis.
Yeah,
If he's chasing rings, that's what Kawhi's doing, and it is what it is.
yeah,
If that's
absolutely.
what he wants to do, and
And
he's
he's done
definitely
that.
got a spot to get a ring with the Clippers.
Absolutely.
Obviously.
And that's the thing. So if you compare Kevin Durant to Kawhi Leonard actually has been to like some of these teams that are on the edge of playoff contention and possibly um, the Larry O'Brien Trophy, such as like think about Toronto when Toronto was on fire. What did he do in San Antonio? Because that's where he started, right? San Antonio.
Yep. Yeah, he was with the Spurs.
Yep, and now with the Clippers, Kevin Durant, he's with the Phoenix now, and he's bouncing around. He went to a super team in Brooklyn that failed miserably because they had a stacked roster from I think it was
Oh, they
positions
did.
from positions 1 to 4 or or maybe all five, and they still didn't do anything, Whereas
Well,
the
he thought he was going to get his. He thought he was going to have the kind of uh, seasons that he had with Golden State.
He did, and that's the problem. That's my point here. Okay, so Kawhi is actually picking like these teams that are, like I said, an ass hair away from contention here. And it shows right here. I mean, even though it's a small margin of -1.5 for the Clippers, you're still going up against a juggernaut of a team in the
Oh
Denver
yeah.
Nuggets, dude. But yeah, I really like the story around Denver. And I agree with Zach. I'm surprised that they're actually um, the underdog in this situation. Even though, like I said, it's a small margin, minus 1.5. Nonetheless, the Nuggets should take this series here. Um, the Grizzlies,
They should, as long as Nikolai Jokic plays like he's been playing all season.
and that's absolutely
Uh,
right. The Joker has to come through here. He really has to
I
come
mean,
through.
you don't see a big. We've talked about this before. You don't see a big man with, well, like, he's a season leader, 28.5 points per game. You don't see that in a big man.
No, absolutely not, dude. Absolutely not. And then this guy is, remember, a few episodes back, man, this is the same guy that scored 70 fucking points.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So the Joker and the Nuggets, I'm not counting them out. The series is tied 2-2. That's not bad. They're not really blowing this thing up. They're keeping it, like Zach said, on the edge of your seat. The Grizzlies, without John Morant, Zach and I already figured that the Grizzlies weren't going to make it that far. Plus, OKC is just on fire, and that's why they got swept 4-zip. Now the Rockets and the Warriors, the Golden State, they lead the series 3-1. Now with Jimmy Butler back, I expect them to get this job done. They play tomorrow
Oh
at
yeah.
7:30 on TNT. Houston is actually favored minus 4.5 here. What do you think of that?
Um. Well, I think they're mostly favored because they're the number 2 team going up at number 7. But I would honestly put Golden State as the favorite right now because they're ahead 3-1.
Absolutely.
They have all the steam.
And I believe
So
I believe they're going into the Bay. I don't think they're playing in Houston.
no, they're playing in Houston.
Yeah, they are. Yep, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, it's Warriors at Houston. I still don't think that makes a difference. Maybe they're favored because they're playing at home.
I think a lot of that has to
Um,
do with the Jimmy Butler thing being questionable as well.
it could.
But
It
nonetheless,
very
the
well
Golden
could.
State, yeah, absolutely. Nonetheless, the Golden State Warriors lead the series 3-1. They play tomorrow, like I said, at 7:30, on TNT or True TV. Go watch that. And then finally, dude, my pick for the Western Finals is blowing up in my face right now as the Minnesota Timberwolves lead the Los Angeles Lakers. And if
Yeah, can you believe that?
I,
Can you fucking believe that?
dude, I honestly I can't, and here's why. So the story around the NBA right now is this series here between the Lakers and the Timberwolves, mainly because Anthony Edwards and LeBron James. They're tearing it down, and Anthony Edwards, dude, is just playing lights out right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I was looking at these clips, dude, yesterday and the day before, and even into today, the way Anthony is actually guarding LeBron James is physicality. He's bringing physicality to his defense, and I'm here for it, dude. I fucking love that. Shut him
Oh
down.
yeah.
Shut him down. That's the only way you're going to be able to shut this team up. I mean, since Luka has been to the Lakers, and I have the Lakers going to the Western Conference Finals, but since the Lakers have acquired Luka Doncic, it's been nothing but Larry O'Brien trophy talk from there on out. So, seeing this is kind of like my jaw dropped because it's the number 3 seed in the Western Conference. How is this even happening? And then you actually pay attention and watch Anthony Edwards just tear up LeBron James.
Oh yeah.
Luka Doncic.
Anthony Edwards,
Go
he's
ahead.
hungry.
He is.
He's hungry for this win.
He is, dude.
And he, like you said, he wants to shut the Lakers up,
Yep.
and I don't blame him.
I don't
And
either.
this whole team is playing lights out
Yeah.
just to do that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
in these 4 games, Anthony Edwards is averaging 29.8 points a game. And he's right there with Luka Doncic.
Yeah.
Luka Doncic
Yeah.
at
Absolutely.
30.8. The Timberwolves are just getting after it.
They are. They are. I think the Timberwolves understand, even though, like you said, the rest of the Timberwolves are playing lights out alongside of Anthony Edwards. For me, though, I just think that the Lakers are just a lot more of a stacked team. They got
Well, they are.
aside from the 2 stars, they got Austin Reeves playing at the 1, which is nice. They got Luka Doncic playing at 2, and then obviously LeBron James could play all 5 positions if you needed him to. It just looks to me like the Lakers are actually starting to slow down. They're running out of gas right now. And if I'm Anthony Edwards and the Minnesota Timberwolves, my foot is right on that neck, and I'm going to continue to
Oh
keep
yeah,
pressing down.
most definitely.
Absolutely.
Uh, I mean, and I wondered if the Lakers got caught off guard.
You think
You know,
so?
they probably thought, well, they're going up against the Timberwolves. They're number
Yeah.
6. You know, they have to play hard, but they don't have to play that hard. Maybe they went a little lazy on practice. Maybe they went a little lazy on watching tape. You know, anything like that can skew
Make
the
a big
whole
difference.
thing. It makes a huge difference, and
Yeah,
I think the Timberwolves caught them off
I
guard
think so.
and came in attacking, and they're not letting off the gas. Uh, I mean, and good on them. I'm glad to see this happen because I'm not a Lakers fan at all. I've never been a Lakers fan, even when Kobe, rest in peace,
Yeah.
and Shaq and all them played there. I wasn't a fan then. I'm not a fan now,
For
and
sure.
I'm glad I'm here for this Timberwolves team to take these Lakers out.
Yeah. So to wrap up the NBA here, if the Lakers go through the Timberwolves, and that's a big if because I have the Lakers going all the way. If the Lakers move on, and they play the Warriors, because that's my guess to win this series as Golden State leads 3-1 against the Houston Rockets. Do you do, do you think that the Lakers could actually beat the Warriors?
No, not with how they're playing against the Timberwolves.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
the Golden State Warriors have a better team.
They do. They
Well,
do.
I should say I shouldn't say that. I should say that Golden State has better shooters.
Yeah, because like I said about LeBron playing all 5 positions, Jimmy Butler can do the same. I don't think he can play
Right.
center, but I know he can play power forward, small forward, shooting guard, and point guard. He done it in
Yep.
Miami. So I
Yep.
I, I agree with you there. I think it's going to be tough for the Lakers to move on from here. Um,
Oh,
and
definitely.
and and here's the big question too is watching this Lakers team, mainly LeBron James. We talk about LeBron James a lot. And whether you want to admit it or not, like LeBron James is up there. Do I think he's better than Michael Jordan? Absolutely fucking not. But do you think that after this series, if the Lakers lose, whether it be to the Timberwolves, the Rockets, or the Thunder, do you think LeBron retires?
I think he needs to.
I think so too. Now
But-
the big
And
question.
that's not even me being biased that I don't like LeBron
I
James
right. I
because I
understand.
don't. I haven't liked LeBron James since he's been in the league.
Yeah.
Um, he needs to hang it up. You can talk all you want that he still got it and everything else. Tom Brady still had it,
Stone
and
Cold
he
still
knew
had
when
it.
to.
Look what happened to him.
He what's
Right.
that?
I said Stone Cold. They said Stone Cold still has it. But what
Yeah,
happened at WrestleMania with that 4 wheeler?
right, right. But but no, here's what I'm saying though. Like Tom Brady still had it. Tom
Yeah.
Brady could
Oh,
have kept
absolutely.
playing. He could have kept playing, but he knew when to retire.
Yeah. Tom Brady. Listen, Tom Brady was running out of gas. Joe Montana
Hmm.
was running out of gas. John Elway was running out of gas. Magic Johnson was running out of gas. Michael Jordan was running out of gas when he was playing for the Washington Wizards. And
Yep.
that's a big argument, right? For when it comes to the LeBron James versus Michael Jordan talk is well, look what LeBron has done with every team that he's been on. Well, look what Michael Jordan has done, in the post ass end of his career with the Wizards, in which I understand that. But in this situation, dude, LeBron James, I think LeBron is holding up the Lakers. They got
Oh
Luka
yeah.
Doncic. They're good. Just build around Luka.
Yeah, you
Luka
don't
and
need
Austin
LeBron
Reeves.
anymore.
Yeah, Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic will be just fine. And then, I mean, you got the next generation in Bronny James. I mean, his stats
Yep.
don't show it, but if you develop this kid over time, and by the way, he's learning from one of the greatest players of all time, LeBron James. Say what you want about LeBron, but he's got the IQ, he's got the skills, and that's why everybody dislikes him. Along with, other reasons.
Uh,
I don't mind.
it's not
I
even
don't mind
that.
him.
It's
Well, hold on, because I don't like when it comes to LeBron James. There's two sides of him. I like the player, the athlete, but the guy that's off the court is a fucking douchebag, and I'll say that right now. I don't like the way he politics around, and I don't like all that other fucking bullshit that he does. Focus on basketball because that's what you're good at.
yep.
Um,
I completely agree with you. He's a phenomenal player and he knows his shit. But it's just it's time.
yeah,
It and just like you said, his off the court shit that he does, it ain't it ain't worth it.
no, 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 not at all, dude. But yeah, so that's the NBA and that's the playoff contention. I still stand with my original statement, even though the Lakers are doing terrible. I just love Luka Doncic, dude. And after that whole trade, there's a little bit of like pity that I have for him, but at the same time, I see how he's competing, and I see that he wants to get this ring to prove to
Yep.
Nico over there in Dallas and say, hey, listen, you really fucked up. I mean, the world knows that the Dallas Mavericks fucked up that trade.
Oh,
Everybody
they
knows.
definitely did.
Anthony Davis is not as good as Luka Doncic. I mean, he's a great defensive player, but he's not on the same level as Luka Doncic. Maybe the New Orleans Pelicans Anthony
Maybe,
Davis.
yeah. I was gonna say maybe the New Orleans Pelicans Anthony Davis
But
when
not
he was
this.
younger.
Yeah, not this Anthony Davis now. And we're talking about LeBron James. I throw Anthony Davis right in there too. Stop trying to be a journeyman. You don't. You just don't got it. Your body. When your body gets older, Zach, you know this. You start to break down, and you just like we talked about Tom Brady. And this is gonna be quick because we got to go into the WWE, and I got to get out of here.
Yep.
Um, we talked about Tom Brady, right? Tom Brady knew exactly when he went 8-8, made the playoffs with the Bucks, and then got eliminated. He knew, yep, I don't have the elements around me anymore, and I'm not gonna hold this team up. And then next thing you know,
Yep.
he moves on. Baker Mayfield comes in, and the Bucks are rebuilding, and they're doing a fantastic job. I want the same thing for the Lakers and the Mavs. I mean, I'm not honest.
Yep.
Honestly, I take that back for the Mavericks because I think that they should get what they fucking deserve in this, and that's nothing but losses. uh, until they fire Nico Collins, dude, that's what I want for that team. But that's the NBA, dude, and I mean I wish the best of luck to Damian Lillard in his recovery. Giannis Antetokounmpo, I think that maybe he'll stay in Milwaukee and try and wrap things up there. But on Monday Night Raw, dude, it was a nice episode of Monday Night Raw,
Yeah, it
dude.
was.
Why don't you go into that a little bit, man?
All right. Well, let's get into. There's a couple of things. We're not going to go over the whole thing, but the big thing was Gunther and Pat McAfee was one of the big things. What do you think of that?
Um, can I be honest real quick, dude? I'm a huge Pat McAfee fan.
Mm-hmm.
I subscribe to his YouTube channel. I actually pay the $1.99 to be that app. I chat in his chat all the time. Wonderful fan base, wonderful show. Excuse me. Now, when it comes into the wrestling business, Pat McAfee is made for this kind of stuff. You look at his mic work, and I mean, honestly, I think he drags it on a little bit, but he tells the story, and he's really good at it. He's really good at kayfabe and all this other stuff. When it comes to his in-ring performancing, though, I think that he's not on the same level as Gunther. I think Gunther's going to have to
Oh
carry this
no.
entire match. And when I first I didn't expect this to turn into a whole story. I thought it was going to be a
No.
one and done thing, but it seems like they're building up for a big story. It's going to be Pat McAfee v Gunther at Backlash. I'm assuming that the boys from the Pat McAfee show are going to get involved somehow because they were talking about
I'd assume Jay's going to get involved too.
yeah. It's looking like AJ Hawk is going to come in sometime, which I'm excited to see that because AJ Hawk is a fucking phenomenal linebacker.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I
We
mean,
don't know in-ring skills, but
yeah. I mean, if he comes in and just Ray Lewis is the fuck out of Gunther, that'll be it for me. But no, on a serious note, as far as this match goes, I'm pretty excited about it, but I'm also nervous at the same time because I don't know. Like I've watched Pat at WrestleMania, I watched Pat in NXT. I just don't. He's got the skills, dude. But I'm worried that he can't hang with Gunther in this type of
oh,
match.
it's going to be. You're right. Gunther's going to carry Pat. I think Pat might be able to hold his own, but it's all a wait and see kind of thing. If if for some godly unknown reason, and I hope this don't happen, Pat beats Gunther. That just smells or just spells bad news for Gunther. And that tells me that they're going to bury him and he's not going to get his title back.
Though, well,
That's just my gut.
yeah, and I'll add to that because what I got from it is this is like one of those like comedy fillers where they pull the wool over Gunther's eyes and Pat McAfee all of a sudden rolls Gunther up 1, 2, 3 and it's done. Gunther's with his jaw dropped, hands on his head, like oh my god, it happened to me.
Yep.
I don't want this for Gunther.
No. No,
Why?
they're just going to hurt his career.
I mean, dude, yeah, in every fucking way. You think about even before the World Championship. Look what 666 days or 669 days or something like that. As Intercontinental Champion, goes into WrestleMania. He has an 0-2 streak against WrestleMania. That first of all, that's bad because when you look to the Walter days, dude, domination, complete domination. Fast forward to 2025, and we got Gunther taking bumps for Jey Uso, putting Jey Uso over, and now Pat McAfee. And that's no dig at Pat. Like I said, I love Pat.
No.
I love his show. I'm a fan. Everything else. It's not the right move for Gunther.
No, I don't think it is either. We'll have to see what Triple H has up his sleeve for that.
Yeah. Real quick, do you think that they should have done this on an episode of Raw instead of Backlash? Because that's what I feel, dude. I feel like this match could have been on Raw. We don't really need to see that type of stuff on PLE. Let's just keep it at Raw.
Yeah, they could have kept it on Raw, most definitely.
Absolutely, dude. But yeah, that's how I feel on that.
All right. Well, we got our opinions on that. Let's talk about Becky Lynch. She came back at WrestleMania. They won. Her and Lyra Valkyria won the titles, and then they lost them the next week, and she went nuts. And we got a heel turn from Becky. Do we see Lyra dropping the title at Backlash to Becky?
Yeah, that's almost a guarantee. That's a given right now, dude. And I don't like it. I mean, I love Lyra, dude. I just love her, man. She's got the looks, and I mean she's got the looks. More than just her beauty, this girl is fucking jacked, dude. Like jacked. I really see Lyra like dropping this belt and maybe. Well, no, because if she drops this belt, this feud's gonna continue.
Yeah,
it's gonna have to continue. So it's.
I would think so.
Honestly, it sounds like what they're gonna do is if they do drop that belt, it's gonna be like a Jey Uso thing where.
Excuse me.
Where Lyra comes back, beats Becky, takes the belt back.
So you think Becky's just doing kind of the Charlotte Flair thing, passing of the torch?
Yeah, I mean, well, you bring up that point. That could also be a lot of it too. Is Becky Lynch's, because we've seen it. She's a mom now. Her and Seth Rollins are parents. Seems like she's really devoted to that life as such. Beautiful child. I've seen her at the press conference. She's a character herself, and I see Becky going in, to semi-retirement. And what I mean by that is like maybe she'll definitely work some matches. And if that's the way she goes, there's no way that she's gonna pick that Intercontinental Championship up. The reason why I say Becky Lynch is gonna take that belt though is I see like with these mid-card titles, there's a chance we can have Grand Slam champion in Becky Lynch, and I think that's what they're aiming for.
I think that's what they're doing. I was just gonna bring that up.
Yeah, go ahead.
She's gonna win that title, and then if I would assume they're gonna do a draft, right?
Yeah.
And as long as she stays around, she goes after the U.S. title, and when that happens, whenever that feud happens with whoever it is, then I think she's done. Yeah. I think she semi-retires or completely retires. If she's happy being a stay-at-home mom, good on her. And she's done a lot for this company. So sure. She should be able to do whatever she wants.
Absolutely. Now, in your opinion, who's better, Charlotte Flair or Becky Lynch?
Becky Lynch. Charlotte has what, 14 world titles or whatever it is. But Becky put in more work.
A lot.
I think. And Becky's only taken maybe a couple breaks, and I could even be wrong about that, but Charlotte didn't work as hard as Becky. I don't think. I don't think Charlotte. To be honest, I don't think Charlotte's worked as hard as Bailey. I don't think she's worked as hard as Sasha Banks, even though Sasha's doing her own thing. Um, a lot of those women that Charlotte came in with, I just don't understand why. I think it's because of the name Flair
Oh
that
yeah,
Charlotte got all this attention and stuff like that. But
100%.
most definitely, the women that she came in with at that time have worked harder than she
A
has.
lot harder, dude. And you're absolutely right, 110%. If her name was anything other than Charlotte Flair, that
Hmm.
we wouldn't be talking about Charlotte Flair as a 14-time women's champion. No, not
No,
that's we're not taking a knock at the work that Charlotte's done because her
no,
catalog just goes on days and days of bangers and matches. I agree with Zach on this. Becky Lynch is the better out of the two. I would say out of the entire four horsemen, Becky Lynch is the man. No pun
yeah,
intended. Speaking of title changes, real quick, Zelina Vega is your new United States Women's Champion.
I kind of like that actually. When I seen it, I was like, good for her.
I
She deserves it.
I would say I'm glad that you think that because I don't know how I feel on that because I said it before when it comes to Zelina Vega, they had a chance to boost this girl and all of a sudden they rushed this. They rushed this United States because I mean the story between her and Chelsea was going on and on and on and on. That
Yep.
story went on too long for one, and then two like she drops it on an episode of SmackDown. Why couldn't we save this for Backlash? She would have got
Right.
a more. She would have got a lot more pop. She would have got a lot more eyes on her, and then that would have skyrocketed her from there. I'm not saying that
I,
that episode of SmackDown wouldn't, but I just don't like this for Zelina Vega. I think it's the wrong time.
it probably is, and I think I see. I don't know. We'll have to see on Friday how SmackDown goes. I see Chelsea Green and Zelina going back at it at Backlash, and Chelsea winning it back.
Oh
And I
yeah,
think they're gonna I think they're gonna kind of do uh, more of that story with her and Zelina, or they bring other people in.
yeah.
I don't know. I don't really know where they're going with it,
I
but I
think
see Chelsea winning the U.S. title back.
I really, I really hope so, dude, because I love the work that Chelsea Green is doing. And if you listen to her interviews, she'll explain step by step of what she's doing with her character.
Oh yeah,
She loves that comedic atmosphere that she brings to it. And I do too. It's a really fun story of Chelsea Green, and it's not like um, it's more of an R-Truth thing, but with the less of the jokes and more of a
right.
reaction. She has the comedy in there, but at the same time, she brings the heat. And I'm not saying that Truth because Truth's catalog goes way back too. World Tag Team Champion, the work he's done at TNA, so on and so forth. I really just don't like this for Zelina Vega, dude. I really don't. And she's held. I mean, obviously 3 days because she won it on SmackDown. How long do you think she holds this belt? And who do you think? I mean, you said Chelsea Green, but give me another name that is worthy of this title right now.
It's hard to say because of who's on SmackDown. You know,
Well, wait a minute, right there, because that brings up a really good point that I'm trying to make here is I always say this all the time, dude. These guys need to build stars, and what really worries me about this is like going to the LA Knight thing. Look, I mean, you and I are both really big LA Knight fans. What they did with him at WrestleMania was one wrong. They robbed the
uh
man,
huh.
and this isn't the first time, dude. Zach and I talked about this before with the whole Shinsuke Nakamura thing. No matter what I think Shinsuke needs to do, it was the wrong time for him to take that belt. LA Knight is on fire now. Chelsea Green is on fire now, and they seem to be taking these belts off of these guys and gals that are really hot right now to put them on somebody that's not to try and boost them, and that's the wrong thing to
Yep.
do. Build these stars up
Yep.
first.
And you can even say that with like Gunther was hot, right? But Jey Uso was even hotter, and it was still the wrong decision in
Very
my
wrong.
in my opinion. In my opinion, it was wrong for that.
And I think that.
And
Go ahead. Sorry.
and we're going to be moving on here
Yeah.
soon, off of the Becky Lynch story, and I just wanted to touch on this, and I'm kind of glad we did, so we can segue into this. Now Logan Paul
Thank you for bringing that up. Oh my god.
trying to
Oh
go
my
after the
god.
title. If we get Logan Paul versus Jey Uso, I'm going to lose my mind
Now listen, before anybody
because
makes any judgment on myself and Zach, understand this. Zach and I have had conversations about Logan Paul being a phenomenal wrestler. But anyway, Zach,
I just don't. It's not his time to be a world champion, and you're going to take off the world title off of Gunther, who is a workhorse, who is there time and time again. You're going to give it to Jey Uso. Okay, I'm not happy about it, but it is what it is. Jey has put his time in. He's been there 15 plus years. Yes, he deserved a world title. Do I think it was at the right time? No. But regardless, now you're going to have Logan Paul come out on Raw and declare that he wants that world title. I mean, Jay shut it down, but we don't really know what's going to come after that.
right.
Like, and Logan is not deserving of that world title.
Not at all.
Not right now.
No, I agree with you. I agree
Like,
with you.
give him the U.S. title back.
Yeah.
Give him the Intercontinental title. I'm okay with that. He did good work as the U.S. title holder. Did he show up every week? No, but he was still a decent title holder.
Absolutely. You know, my big thing here, right, is like inside like the segment. I don't know if you listened to that, but Logan made some really good points. He said that I've done more work since I got here than you have done in 15 years, right?
Yeah.
So there is a little bit of truth to that. I mean, if we're talking, we're talking singles competitor, Jay, not tag team guy
Right.
anymore. Because that's the big thing here is they want to separate Jey Uso from the Usos itself and make Jey Uso an independent guy. So now we got to judge him as an independent guy. Logan Paul
And
is
yeah,
absolutely right here.
oh yeah, he completely is right. He won a title before Jay did.
Yep.
A singles title, and he's obviously held it longer than Jay's
Oh yeah.
single title
And he
runs.
made that known.
So we'll have to see,
Absolutely.
where this goes.
And
But in my opinion, it is not the time for Logan Paul to hold a main title.
no. And the thing is here too is like think of the matches Logan Paul has had. Roman Reigns, AJ Styles, all these big caliber matches that has pushed him like the reason why I bring this up too is it goes right back to what we were just talking about with the other guys. That's how you build a star. But why are they doing it with fucking Logan Paul? Logan Paul is Logan Paul. We don't need everybody knows. Everybody in the world knows Logan Paul. We don't need Logan Paul on a pedestal to put the Jey Uso. Are we that desperate? Are we that down bad for fucking talent here?
I don't think so. I think it's just Triple H doing Triple H things.
Trying to
And we
rise
praise
the ball,
we praise Triple H for the work he's doing, but some of it is just a little iffy.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah,
we're gonna move on to the last thing here.
Yeah,
You can say your bottom line.
Bottom line is that Logan Paul does not need to be put in these positions. We need what? And by the way, real quick, and then we'll move on. I promise. What happened to the fucking rematch clause?
Yeah, I don't know. I heard. Well, they did that with the tag titles.
Yeah.
The women's tag titles, and they said deserved. Yeah, and that's the last time I've heard of it. So we'll have to see
Absolutely.
where
But
they
anyway,
go with that. Yeah, we're gonna hit this one thing, and then I gotta actually run.
yeah.
So the other big thing on Raw, and sorry to people, we're not gonna hit the NFL today. We'll get that. We'll do a whole NFL episode next.
Yeah, absolutely.
About the draft and whatnot. But the other big thing segment on Raw to end it was Sami Zayn and Seth Rollins.
I love this, dude.
It was a good segment. It was really good. I liked how they brought the kind of the bloodline stuff into it. How Paul Heyman and Sammy were original bloodline members and all this other stuff. I enjoyed the whole thing. And Braun Breaker is a fucking animal.
Jesus Christ, dude.
He speared Sami Zayn into oblivion
Oh
multiple
my.
times.
Dude.
So where do you think this goes from here?
What? First of all, dude, what I think that they're doing, and it bothers me. seems like they're recycling. I know you and I talked about this before we started recording, but seems like they're fucking recycling the whole bloodline story. They keep taking these jabs at Seth Rollins. Sami Zayn did with, you're doing the same thing as the bloodline. Zach, you mentioned it before we started recording. Why are they calling Paul Heyman the fucking wise man here?
Yeah, I don't understand that whole thing. They need to drop the wise man thing.
Yeah.
I'm Paul Heyman.
I mean, it's
If you're
Roman,
gonna
right?
do the visionary Seth Rollins, you need to drop that. Give Paul Heyman some other name
Yeah.
rather than
Just
the
go back
wise
to.
man.
I mean, they were talking about Pat on like the post show of WrestleMania, which was the Pat McAfee show the next day. Paul Heyman was on there, and they were going announcing him as Paul Heyman, just Paul Heyman, not the wise
Right.
man, but Paul Heyman. And on commentary, it was Seth is a Paul Heyman guy now at WrestleMania.
Yep.
So why I don't understand. It's like I was gonna say, the only way that this fits is if you're gonna bring Roman Reigns and CM Punk back into this. And if that's the case, I don't want to see this again. I love Roman
Right.
Reigns. I love CM Punk, dude. Roman Reigns needs to go and do his own thing now. Be the tribal
Oh, he
chief
does.
still, but
Yep.
go and do your own fucking thing. CM Punk.
Yep.
We've seen CM Punk versus Seth Rollins countless times already. I don't want to see this no more. I don't want to see this no more. What I do want to see though is where the stable goes, because I don't want to see like I said, I don't want to see him and Roman. I don't want to see him and CM Punk. I want to see them start to target everything else because of the things that I've seen on the internet already about this group being compared to Evolution. I guess that we're supposed to get one more guy or gal into it. I'm assuming that it might be Becky Lynch, considering that her heel turn is there and fresh. But I don't see it. I don't think we've ever seen on screen in kayfabe Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch together, like as a tag
No.
team or anything else. So I don't know if they would start doing that now, and if they do, maybe it's like I talked about earlier, Becky Lynch on her way out the door. That could be something. But as far as like the bloodline stuff and the wise man, cut that shit the fuck out.
Yep. Definitely cut it out. I'm excited to see where this goes,
yeah,
and
absolutely. And
well, get more into it next episode.
yeah, but real quick, to answer your question, I think this is going to be a longer story than we expected. It's going to be Sami Zayn and Seth Rollins forever, pretty much, and then Sami Zayn is going to end up joining, that group for a short period of time. I'm thinking like a John Cena Nexus thing where they force him to do it. They have
Yep.
a carrot over a stick, but all in all, Raw was really good. I enjoyed it. Lots of fucking bangers, especially that Stephanie Vaquer match. I love Stephanie Vaquer, who is the NXT champion, women's champion. This episode of Raw, I'm gonna give this an A-. That's just my opinion. And real quick before we leave, I just wanna congratulate somebody. And that person is the San Francisco tight end, George Kittle, who just signed a 4-year deal.
Oh yeah, I signed a big extension.
Yep, signed a 4-year deal, $76.4 million, $40 million guaranteed. So George Kittle, you deserve it. And I said this before, and Zach doesn't agree with me, and I'll say it right now again. George Kittle is the best fucking tight end in the league today. Blocking, as far as like cutting the seams, everything else. George Kittle is the man. Travis Kelce is number 2. And that's all I got for today. Zach, take it away, brother.
Alrighty, hey. The starters may get the glory, but the bench warmers bring the fun. Tune in for another episode of the BenchWarmers Podcast.
And peace.